In an era where many games often feel the same, Stray offers something different in both its premise and execution. Released in 2022 as a debut title for BlueTwelve Studio, the game immediately caught the attention of the wider gaming community, mostly due to its cute protagonist and interesting setting. It received enough praise to win Best Indie Game and Best Debut Indie Game, as well as being nominated for the main prize at the Game Awards. I've been mildly curious about it since I first saw the reveal trailer, and with it being one of the free games released in November, I thought, why not? And finally decided to jump in and give it a shot, as well as pursue the Platinum Trophy. Stray has 25 trophies, including the Platinum. It will require at least 2 playthroughs, one of them being a speedrun, which I'll have to do in under 2 hours. There are also several collectible trophies, as well as miscellaneous trophies related to specific events in the game. Luckily this won't be a problem, as the game has chapter select, meaning nothing is missable. I also decided that my first playthrough would be blind, as I also wanted to experience this game without spoilers due to its interesting premise. Most guides put Stray at around 8 hours to get the Platinum. I'll find out for myself as to whether this is the case. Let's do this. You start off the game by playing as well, a stray cat. Here we just get used to the controls and various mechanics while exploring with our friends. That is until we're separated and fall into the chasm below. Here we earn our first story trophy for simply doing that. After some exploring, we find a lab where we reboot an AI drone called B12, our companion for the rest of the game, and will provide aid to the cat at various points in the story. We also pop another trophy for meeting him. We also encounter our first enemies of the game, Zurks, who are also involved in attaining a few trophies, but I'll get to those later. Shortly afterwards, we find a photo of the outside world, which unlocks the first of B12's memories. This is the first of a few collectibles. There are 27 of these in total, and will be required for a trophy. Eventually, the cat and B12 reach our first inhabited area, the slums. While no humans exist here, their robot companions do. They're scared to meet us at first, but once they see we provide no threat, they eventually open up. They speak in a different language, which requires B12 to translate. This in turn pops a trophy for translating for the first time. While exploring the slums, we pop a miscellaneous trophy for putting a paper bag over our head. We also pop another trophy for jumping 500 times. After exploring further and finding some more collectibles, we speak to a character called Momo to advance the story. Here, he can help us escape if we do some favors for him, which include putting his transceiver on top of a tower, as well as navigating the dead-end section to acquire a weapon which destroys Zurks. While carrying these tasks out, I pop a trophy for meowing 100 times. Eventually, we travel with Momo into the sewers where we have to part ways with him before reaching the next populated area, the Ant Village. Here, we pop another miscellaneous trophy for ruining a game of Mahjong between 2 robots. After speaking with the leader of this place, he tells us to ascend further until we reach another area called Midtown. This unlocks another story trophy. While in Midtown, we pop another miscellaneous trophy for nuzzling up against 5 robots. One thing I noticed while playing this game is that while humans are no longer around, the robots have copied most of their behavioral patterns. This extends to how the entire society in the underground city is run. This includes an authoritarian regime, as well as a class system which is distinguishable when you notice the differences between the slums and Midtown. I'm not sure if the developers intended to put a message in here about this, but it was pretty noticeable from my perspective, especially considering how closely the robots have copied their creators, or how the creations imitated their masters. Either way, despite never appearing, humans are not portrayed in a positive light from what is perceived of them. Or perhaps I'm overthinking this. I'm not sure. To the Platinum journey, we find Momo's friend Clementine. With her help, we steal an atomic battery which will help us get to the surface. It's here we encounter the other recurring enemy, Sentinels. They're also linked to a couple of miscellaneous trophies we'll need to acquire in Chapter Select. We return back to Clementine only for us to all to be arrested after one of her contacts sold us out. We're sent to jail, and this unlocks another story trophy. Eventually, all three of us escape jail, but we're separated from Clementine after she offers to distract the Sentinels so we can escape to the surface. We use the atomic battery to power the subway, which takes us to the final area. Here, we solve a few more puzzles, which opens the roof to the whole city and opens the door to the surface. Unfortunately, doing this is too much for B12's systems, so he sacrifices himself so his companion can reach the surface. After an emotional farewell, the cat finally reaches the surface with the fate of the robot society below unknown. The credits roll, and the final story trophy pops. With story done, it was time to dive into chapter select for most of the remaining trophies. I decided to prioritize the collectibles first, as well as popping any miscellaneous trophies if the opportunity arises. At the end of the story, I had collected 23 of the 27 memories, and the first of the missing ones was back in the slums. While searching for a memory, I popped 2 miscellaneous trophies. The first was for browsing through all of the TV channels in this living room area, which also happens to be on the roof, as well as one for dunking the basketball on the stairs. The missing memory was being sold at this market, where we needed to exchange 3 energy drink cans for it. We eventually find enough cans and acquire the memory. The slums also has a collectible exclusive to the zone in the form of music sheets, which we need to give to the performer. There are 8 in total, and when we finally find and give them all to him, another trophy pops. In return, the performers give us a badge, which is one of another set of collectibles we'll need to find through the game's various areas. The next missing memory was in the sewers, which we find promptly. There's also another random trophy if we complete the sewers without killing any Zerks. Since I was now familiar with how the sewers were layered, it wasn't too difficult to do this, and inevitably another trophy popped doing just that. The final 2 memories are both located in the Midtown chapter. There were also a few other trophies I needed to acquire in this area. Firstly, I'll have to complete the chapter without being spotted by Sentinels. Like the Zerks in the sewers, there's some challenge to this, but knowing how this game works now, I was able to do this pretty well, and popped a trophy for it. Next, I popped a trophy for acquiring all the badges in the game. There are 6 in total. Some are for completing certain side missions, others are just found in hidden areas. Late on in the chapter, I found the vinyl memory for B12 and unlocked the trophy for acquiring all of his memories. With all his memories restored, B12 fully remembers what happened. He was originally a human scientist who uploaded his memories into the drone. He also reveals that the walled city was built for humanity to survive a catastrophe on the surface. It's never revealed what this catastrophe was or what caused it, but we do know that it was extremely devastating. However, humanity would end up being wiped out by a plague, including B12's family, where he couldn't do anything to save them. Now, humanity's legacy lies with him and the cat. This is an interesting narrative choice to go down, and it does feel rewarding to find this out when you acquire all the memories. It also helps strengthen the bond between the cat and B12. Ironically, their friendship is more believable than in some games with significantly larger budgets. Anyway, back to the Platinum journey. The final trophy to acquire in Midtown was in the club section, where we have to grab a final disc and scratch it, which we do. With all the collectibles done, I decided to knock out the sub 2-hour speedrun next. Having just sped round Hollow Knight's Silksong in the previous video, I wasn't fazed by Stray's one. Knowing how the game worked, I was confident that I would succeed on my first attempt, and I was especially confident considering I was able to trigger certain events at particular points to save time. One thing I will point out is that cutscenes took up roughly half of the speedrun's time. They're not skippable and do contribute to the overall playtime. I'm not fond of anything like this, as I feel this is done to artificially inflate game time and put additional pressure on the player. However, this was more tedious than anything to me, as I breezed through this. My speedrun time was 1 hour and 35 minutes, hence I obtained the speedrun trophy. All that was left to wrap up was a few more miscellaneous trophies. Firstly, after some trial and error, I acquired the trophy for scratching in every chapter. Turns out the one I was missing was in chapter 3 in the apartment where we first encountered B12. Next was probably the most difficult trophy of the game. It was for beating the first Zerk pursuit without getting caught. This was quite difficult to do so I intentionally saved this one as one of the last trophies for when I was better at the game. I'm not sure if it was down to skill issues or luck, but it definitely took me a while to pull it off. But after 10 minutes of trying, I finally got the perfect run and a trophy popped for it. The penultimate trophy was also the most depressing. It required us to die 9 times. After a couple of minutes of reloading to that same Zerk chase and intentionally dying, the trophy popped. There was one trophy remaining, and it was actually the most relaxing one. All I needed to do was sleep for an hour. In real time, not game time. So I just parked up next to the musician in the slums and slept for an hour there. And eventually the trophy popped for that. The platinum trophy then popped, and my journey was over. Overall, is Stray's Platinum worth it? I would say that it is. It's a decent game even if you're not pursuing the Platinum trophy. It's not particularly difficult or long, as my final playtime was just under 12 hours in a mostly relaxing playthrough. You could do a lot worse than a game like Stray. Thanks for watching, you absolute legends, and good luck on your gaming journey. Be sure to like and subscribe.